Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 24 of the Viktoria Köln story. Now, before we get into this episode, I do just want to give a little disclaimer of sorts. This episode isn't going to be the same as what we normally do. It'll be very similar, but it's not going to be sort of like the exact same of what we've done in the past few episodes. We are going to be primarily going through the squad and sort of giving you a little bit of an insight into who I think has performed well, not performed well, and all the sort of squad admin stuff. But we will be playing a game, but the main emphasis will be on the planning for next year and for players that may be leaving, staying, all that sort of stuff. So we will be back to our normal structure in the next episode. But fingers crossed you can still enjoy this episode and stick with me. Right then, here we are into the final episode of Season 3 in our very emotional journey so far, I think is safe to say. But for anyone that isn't aware and anyone that maybe hasn't noticed it on screen, we have won the third division in Bundesliga. In Bundesliga? Bundesliga? What? Third division in Germany, I meant. And with that means that we are going to have to be very, very ruthless in terms of the squad that we have and players that we're going to get in. There is going to be wide-scale changes because going into the next division is going to be extremely, extremely tough. I don't think a lot of our squad is up to it, so that a lot of the players that we have had this year might not necessarily be part of the first team squad or might not even be here at all coming into the start of next year. But since you were last here, obviously, last episode, as I said, we got promoted and we did win the league. And since then, we've only played one game, which was against Braunschweig, where we did lose 2-1 at home. Gonna be honest with you, don't give a stuff. So, Braunschweig, you can take them 3 points and trot off, mate, because I literally do not give a sausage. But before we get into the final game of this year against 20th place Chemie Leipzig, we are going to go through the squad a little bit, and we are going to go through some of the players that, as I said before, I think are maybe underperformed, overperformed. Overall, though, I do think that considering the size of our squad, I do think a lot of our players have been very lucky to avoid injury. And I actually think we've been very, very fortunate at how well and consistent we've been this year. Because coming into this year, I did not expect to win the league at all. I can't actually remember what I said at the start of the year. I'll have to look back. I mean, I'll put it on screen right now, because I am almost certain that this season's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We're going to have our ups and our downs. So I do think that for the overall season, we have very much overperformed, and I think that's safe to say for a lot of our players. And it's going to be really tough to pick specific players that I think have underperformed, because every single player in our squad, due to the size, has had to play quite a fundamental role, whether it be rotating or coming in for someone that's injured, all that sort of stuff, or even off the bench. Every single player that we've had has played a major part in our season. But I think there's only one guy we can start off with. I think you all realise and know immediately who it's going to be. And of course, we are going to start off with Michael Seaton. This guy is brilliant. This guy's been absolutely fantastic for us all year, and when you consider the years that he had previously, he's been pretty decent for us. We didn't actually sign him, I think it was under the regime before us, but getting this guy in and scoring consistently, and then this year he's just took it up to a whole new level with 19 goals, 13 assists, 5 man of the matches in 34 games, so topping every single sort of stat that he's had the past 2 years. And without this guy, I'm fairly certain we won't be in the position we are now. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be here next year, or if he is, he's definitely not going to be our first choice striker, which is going to be a sad thing to see, just because of the way he's been this year. It's going to be really, really tough to say to him, you've got to go, mate. You've got to leave. But I'm sure he'll understand. He's a legend in my eyes. But this could be the end for Michael Seaton. There's no guarantees of it. As I said, he could become a backup but we'll have to wait and see. So then the next sort of few players, once again, have had a very, very good impact on our squad. And I think the guy that we have to go to is actually Steven Lorentz. He's currently injured at the moment, but this guy, once again, having a very, very good year. 10 goals, 4 assists, 2 player of the matches in 32 games. Once again, we didn't bring him in, but under our management, he's been pretty good, especially in terms of his goals returned. His assists haven't been really that great considering the position that he's been in, but he's popped up for the important goal here and there when we needed him, and he's once again been very, very big for our title-winning season that we've had. And I actually mentioned these two specific people in the last episode or the episode before, and it's actually a big shout-out goes to our fullbacks. Our fullbacks this year have been very underappreciated, and I think I'm very much going to put Stefan Lang as probably the most underappreciated player in our squad, because he hasn't really been the guy that's sort of, all flashy, all doing these, overhead passes and ridiculous, skill flicks and all this stuff. He's not that sort of guy, but what he has been is consistent this year, and with 5 assists, actually getting better than what he's got in the past few years, and actually getting himself a goal as well. This guy has been absolutely fantastic, and he is actually wanted by a few teams this year, and part of me wants to keep him just because I feel like his consistency could bode well into next year, but we'll have to see what sort of players are available before we go replacing sort of big players. And the same goes for season as well. They're very much positions I'm looking to strengthen. And alongside Paulo Henrique as well, he is declining a little bit, but once again, consistent. And he's actually got, and I've just noticed this, 11 assists. That is ridiculous. He's got more assists than our actual left winger in Steven Lorentz, and that is absolutely mental. 11 assists in 35 is incredible. I think it's the only way to put it. And once again, I was going to say this guy's been a little bit underappreciated, but you know what? No, he has been a little bit underappreciated, Paulo, in this year. I think the fullbacks on a whole have been been under the radar a little bit, have just gone into the side, consistent, bagged a few assists here and there, and I've just continued training well and playing well. So I'm definitely going to say the fullbacks this year have probably been the most underrated in terms of our entire squad. We're not going to go through every single individual player because we'll be here till tomorrow otherwise. But I think the next sort of shout-outs that I have to go to are Santiago Ramos Mingo and Alan Emperor. Obviously, both of these guys come in at the start of the year, and I can't remember what I said, but I was pretty certain I did say something along the lines of that they're maybe not the sort of players that I wanted to get in. I know I was specifically happy with Santiago just because he's young, good potential and good ability. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get him past this year, but these two have been brilliant once again. The partnership that these two have formed being a massive factor into why we haven't conceded as many as we have and have actually, once again, top of the table. Santiago especially is absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to get him at the end of this year. I don't think it'll be the case just because he is at Barcelona, but getting someone like this guy in for next year, 20 years old, can develop as well. And if we do get him, we could potentially sell him on for money if, a big team comes in for him. But we'll have to wait and see if Barcelona renew his contract. And then there's Alan Emperor, once again, 28 years old, fantastic year, although his rating probably says otherwise. The matches that I've watched and the matches that you've watched as well, Alan and Mingo have been absolutely fantastic. And from the centre-back partnership to the midfield partnership of Fofana, Moran and Gomelt, these three, once again, exceeding all expectations. I think the guy specifically, Tomislav Gomelt, being the main man for this year. 9 goals, 4 assists in 29 appearances. This guy's been absolutely unreal. Obviously scored some absolute bangers throughout the year as well. A long shot specialist we have in our squad. And I'd love to keep him coming into next year, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, he's got a contract till next year, so we might be able to keep him. Depends if a big team comes for him or not. And then for Far... No. I think because it's the end of the year, there's only one way to do this.
For fun.
been absolutely fantastic for us throughout the year. He is getting on a little bit, 29 years old, but once again, good average rating, very consistent throughout the year. And then I've said this a few times, but I think the massive thing and the biggest contributor to our success this year is the fact that we've just been so consistent. We've lost games here and there that maybe should have won, but we've always bounced back. We've never gone on a 4 or 5 or 6 game losing run like you'd probably find in most years. Most teams have that sort of like gap in the year where they just lose silly games. We haven't really had that, and Fofana, Moran and Gomel have been instrumental to that. And Moran, once again, 30 years old, getting on a little bit, maybe not seeing out, maybe not coming in next year, but 7.36 rating, 2 assists. Maybe would have liked him to get a few more assists, considering the position that he's playing in, that deep line playmaker role. But you can't say anything bad about Moran. He's come in, done a job, and left. That's all we can expect from him. But other than that, I don't really think there's any more players that, for me specifically, have stood out. Obviously, the likes of Wace has been very good as well this year. He's actually leaving at the end of the year. It's completely forgotten. We've only conceded 28. Well, he's only conceded 28 and 34. But other than that, I mean, I'd love to hear the players specifically that you think have done very, very well, underrated, overrated. I'd love to hear your opinion. So feel free to put it in the comment. We can have a discussion. We can have a discussion about it. Yes, we can. But if we have a quick look as to, the season that we've had in terms of results, I said this before, but we haven't had a specific area in the season where we've lost a ton of games. We obviously had a fantastic start to the league. We then lost, a game here against Munster, but then from throughout a good few months, we only lost 1 in the league, and that really catapulted us up. And that really sort of, apart from maybe March, was a little bit of a rough month with a loss against Karlsruhe and FC Bayern. But other than that, the results we've had been absolutely fantastic. A lot of sort of 1-0 wins in there that could have gone either way. But once again, just seeing the game out, staying focused and getting them 3 points. And I can't remember how many points we're ahead. So we're actually, 9 points ahead of third place. So that really sort of puts into context how dominant we've been this year, with the best goal difference, the least amount of games lost, the least draws and the most wins. So we've been the best team by far this year. But on that note, I mean, my overall thoughts coming into next year, as I said, there's going to have to be a lot of changes. There's just going to have to be a lot of changes. And the sad reality is that a lot of the players here might not still be here. Just because we're going to have to avoid relegation next year. I'm saying it now. The goal for next year is to avoid relegation. And with that in mind, there's going to have to be players that do leave. I feel like the likes of Danny Motta will come into his own next year. I feel like someone like this guy, very, very good ability and potential, could be pretty instrumental for us next year and provide some well-needed cover in them positions that he plays. But enough of all the admin. We are going to go into our final game of the year. I don't care about the result, but the main reason I'm doing this is that we can hopefully end on a win and sort of celebrate the end of season in style. And maybe a few farewells to a few of the boys that aren't going to be here next year. You know what? I'm going to play some of the guys that I might not think are going to be here next year. Can I play anyone here? So we're going to play Moran. I don't think he'll be here next year. Rissel as well. Felix. We'll play... I think we'll... And Tomic as well. I think Tomic's been very disappointing. I think he's going to be someone that leaves at the end of the year as well. But here we go then. I'd love to end this on a win. 20th place. What a lovely game to end the season on, with a possible and quite frankly should be win here. But we'll have to wait and see. And the boys are lining up. They've already got a few regens. Marco Djukic, and their left back Fabio Bats. No regens in our side, apart from Tomic in our first team anyway. But here we go, boys. Let's go. 3 points. I've just realised. Sorry. I'm just going to go back quickly. No. Oh, God. Right. Oh, I can't. God's sake. Right. I'll highlight it. I'll highlight it on the video.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely.
Right, chances, go. Okay, we do have a chance 15 minutes into the game, and it looks like it's going to be for us. Andrade on the right-hand side, and that has been, I feel like, a story for him for most of the year. Andrade hasn't had the season I thought he'd have. If he would have scored that, I would have been absolutely fuming. But 1-0, Mark Rissell, what a farewell goal that could be for him. Probably not going to be here. I'm pretty nailed on certain that he won't be here next year. And it's lovely to see that he's got himself a goal. Nisley cannons off the crossbar and Rissell puts his life on the line to put us 1-0 up. What a lovely goal that was. And as I said, like, Andrade hasn't had the year that I thought he'd have. So we're probably not going to renew his loan coming into the next season. I don't think we need him, really. He hasn't had the impact I thought he would. But Shemi are having a few chances here, and they have scored, which is a bit of a bummer. I'm going to be honest with you. That is a little bit annoying, to say the least. I mean, we've been absolutely dominant throughout this game. And, I mean, it's a great finish. Tomic with some suspicious goalkeeping there. Clearly getting paid by Shemi Leipzig. And do Shemi have anything to play for? No. They've had a horrendous year. They've conceded 80 in all season. Lang gets past his man. Is this going to be another assist for Lang? Ball in. It's not. But Rissell gets it. Enrique. Lovely ball. Motta. He's got to square that. He doesn't. He dwells on it. Enrique. Seaton. Another assist from Paulo Enrique. And another goal for Michael Seaton. Partnership of the ages. And it's very well worked. Motta maybe could have played it first time, but he stays focused. Enrique, great ball into Seaton. There's no way he could miss. 2-1. Absolutely dominant performance. We've got another chance straight away. Lang. Fofana. Andrade. Seaton. What? How has he missed that? Paulo Enrique. I mean, we are having so many chances, and I'm concerned that we are going to... There's so many... I can't keep up, boys. Jesus wept. There's been about 4 chances in quick succession. That was very, very stressful. Okay, it's another poor goal kick from Shemi Leipzig. Fofana. Ball in. Motta. Let's go. And with that goal, I'm pretty certain the game is done. I don't think Shemi are going to be able to get back in. This is a great goal, great ball from Fofana right onto Motta's head. Keeper gets a hand to it. Arguably should do a little bit better, and the stands are absolutely packed. Won the league. The supporters still can't be bothered coming to see us. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute bloody disgrace, honestly. Oh, but going into half time, do we give a few cameos here? I think we do. Let's bring on Pellegrini. Bring on Pellegrini for Lang. We'll bring on Haltos on the left, and we'll bring on Schroeder for... Actually, you know what? We'll bring Vase on for Tomic, actually. Obviously, Vase going at the end of the year. Give him a little run out. Sort of get that... I say supporters, but there's none here at the moment. Get that supporters sort of clapping as he walks off the pitch at the end of the game. Okay, looks like it's a chance for Shemi, but it's a good clearance from... I think that was our left back there, and they've gone all the way back. Is this going to be a mistake? It's an ambitious ball, and it's okay defending, I think. It's a good ball in, and I mean, it was an ambitious shot there from their player, but thankfully it comes to nothing. And 63 minutes on the clock, and there is another chance already. Actually, the stands do have quite a few fans, to be fair, so I don't know how many of them are actually ours. Pellegrini, Fofana, Eric Moran. Great ball over to Motta. Is he going to be 4? Holthouse. I mean, that was... We probably should be 4 or 5-1 up at this rate, but as long as we win the game, I'm not entirely bothered. Eric Moran, Motta, Seaton, left-hand side, or striker on the left wing. Not known for his crossing. Holthouse, ball in. It's a very good save there from Bello. Bello. Sure, it's one of them. I mean, this could get a little nervy here. Wagner on the right-hand side. It's a good ball. The chance isn't gone yet, and that's got to be off. That has got to be offside. Red card, not a red card. VAR, Alex, assistant referee, AAR, miles off, could fit a bus inside that line. Learn football. Clowns. Right, on this note, because I'm worried they are going to get back into it, let's do a little bit of shithousery, as I like to call it. And I think that is going to be it for the game. I'm very happy we were able to end the season on a win. Fantastic stuff. I'm very, very, very happy with that. And the season does come to a close, and Essen actually secure their playoff spots. And it's Vase bids farewell to Köln. That he does. He walks off. Let's all give him a round of applause. Mr. Andre Vase, lovely, fantastic servant for Viktoria Köln. Well done, mate. You deserve this round of applause. Well done. Well done. But before we end the episode, let's have a look at the final standings of the third division. So Hal, Uerdingen, Schweinfurt and Chemie Leipzig all getting themselves relegated. Karlsruhe, I forgot how to say it. Oh, I'm an idiot. For God's sake. As if I forgot how to say it. But Karlsruhe joining us in the second division, and our Essen actually getting themselves into the playoffs as well. So we could be joined by RWS, and obviously they were fighting us for them spots for quite a majority of the year before tailing off a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if they get themselves through. But the likes of Kaiserslautern and Braunschweig actually having a very poor year. They actually finished 3rd and 6th respectively the past 2 years, but only able to get themselves a 15th place position finish in this year, which is a very, very disappointing result for them. Be interested to see if their manager actually gets sacked. I have no intention of leaving Köln, so don't you worry about that. But I think that is going to bring us to the end of the episode. As I said, I do apologise that this has maybe not been sort of the same structured episode as what you'd normally expect, but do not worry. Next episode, new season, we return back to normal. But thank you all so much for watching. Absolute pleasure. I'm so happy we were able to win a trophy together. But I will see you at the start of next year. Great way to end the episode, Alex, you moron. Let's try that again. But I will see you at the start of the next year with widespread changes in our squad. New players to love. Players gone. No heartbreaks again. Only promotions and Champions League medals. But I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.